Okay, y'all. The Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky played on Saturday. Of course, Angel Reese plays for the Sky. Caitlin Clark plays for the Indiana Fever. And, oh, Lord, have all these people, these commentators, and these folks who have no clue about the WNBA have been losing their minds because Chennedy Carter, a Texas A&M alum, committed a hard foul against, oh, my goodness, Caitlin Clark. Oh, the last thing we can do is have hard fouls in the WNBA. So here's what actually happened. Watch this.
Doubled off to Carter. Her jumper is good. Chennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench. And Clark.
All right, so Chennedy Carter gives Caitlin Clark a love tap. It's a shove. And oh my goodness, they've been losing their minds. Now, there's a thing called context. And again, folks are like, this is ridiculous. This makes no sense. It's just wrong. This can't be allowed. Do any of y'all watch basketball? WNBA or the NBA? Folk get pushed, shoved. Are we serious? Oh, just in case y'all didn't quite understand the context, let me roll back what happened prior to this play. Watch this.
1 for 2 at the line. Carter had it deflected by Clark, who comes over the steal. Here's Clark. Clark using the Boston screen. Carter got over it. Bump from behind, and Indiana able to retain possession. Boston, mid-range fake, the pull-up, short, the follow, no. Another chance, won't go for Boston. Loose ball, this time it's good. Aaliyah Boston flips it in.
So maybe y'all didn't quite see it. So I'm just going to slide this back a little bit. So at the top of the screen, I want y'all to watch, after the bucket is made, watch Caitlin Clark turn back and talk some trash to Chennedy Carter. It's at the top of the video. Watch this.
Boston. Loose ball. This time it's good. Aaliyah Boston flips it in after the
Now, Caitlin Clark talks trash on the basketball court all the time, just like Larry Bird did. So guess what? When you talk trash to somebody, all right, they're going to remind your ass what's going on. So why are these people literally losing their minds and how, oh my God, what's going on? Do y'all want to see some stupidity? How about the dumbasses with the Chicago Tribune editorial board? Mind you, she doesn't play for the Chicago Sky. This is the Chicago Tribune editorial board. At least go to my iPad. From the editorial board. The foul committed by Chicago Sky guard Chennedy Carter on Caitlin Clark was egregious. Outside of a sporting contest, it would have been seen as an assault. I don't know if these are all new people with the Chicago Tribune. But clearly you didn't have anybody with the Tribune who was on the editorial board when the Bulls would play the Pistons and the Pistons would beat the hell out of Michael Jordan, and they called it the Jordan rules, and their deal is when he brought his ass down the lane, you put a hurting on Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Y'all, Magic Johnson, they were whooping his ass when he came into the NBA. Oh, you gonna come in here hot dogging it? His own teammates were giving him hell. Larry Bird had a crazy fight with Dr. J. I mean, we can go on and on and on. I remember Kareem Abdul-Jabbar mollywopped several players. So I'm trying to understand here why we ain't even going to talk about the brawl at the Palace with the Pistons and Indiana Pacers. Can we please stop this snowflake crap with Caitlin Clark? Okay?
Come on.
Guess what? One of the other centers threw Angel Reese down on the floor, and that was called, "Hey, boo, welcome to the WNBA." This is called sports. And so then you got all these folks, then you got crazy-ass people saying stuff like Pat McAfee on ESPN, his silly ass, and he's now since apologized for this utterly ridiculous comment. But listen to Pat McAfee explain what's going on here, and he sounds like an idiot.
No, is she what? I don't know. I just, with my eyes, I couldn't see if she's Caucasian or not. So I think what we're trying to say is what the WNBA currently has is what we like to describe as a cash cow. There is a superstar. And we're not saying that the players on the court need to act any differently. That's the athletes are going to do what athletes are going to do in any sport. And I think we're all learning that WNBA, that's old school football, baby. That is old school football. But I would like the media people that continue to say, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar. And is it because she stayed in Iowa, put an entire state on her back, took a program from nothing to a multiple-year success story? Is it because she would go on to break the entire...
That's a whole bunch of BS. First of all, let's just unpack some things here. First, Caitlin Clark is not a WNBA superstar. She was a superstar in college. Now, has she brought lots of attention? Absolutely. Absolutely. I talked about this beforehand, that a lot of the attention, the Nike deal, all of these different things, I mean, we could go on and on and on, and how everybody's benefiting. But they're also benefiting because the previous generation, what they built. They also are benefiting because we saw female stars in college. One of them, Angel Reese. In fact, Angela Reese, and she talked about this whole thing as well, making it clear that folk also watching me. See, this is where Pat McAfee was wrong, because what he was saying there is that, oh, this rookie class is only about Caitlin Clark. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's really, I'm telling you, Angela Reese and Caitlin Clark. This is Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. Excuse me. This is Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. It's what it is. And I accept the reality of black and white. I do. Because that's America. The biggest money fight was what? In boxing? George Clooney and Larry Holmes. Yeah, that's black and white. This is America. But I'm tired of these people acting like she can't be fouled. Here's the whole deal. If you're Caitlin Clark and you talk trash, your ass gonna get smacked. And Chennedy Carter said, listen, little girl, you new to this, I'm true to this. Chennedy Clark was a baller at Texas A&M. She was an All-American. She was balling in the WNBA. Had some issues in Atlanta and Los Angeles. She scored 19 points for that game, outscoring Caitlin Clark. But this is real simple. When you play grown-ass women are going to talk to you like you're a rookie. So I need all of these men and all of these women and all of these people who ain't never followed the WNBA. Oh, by the way, I'm from Houston. First three-time champion of the Houston Comets. I'm quite familiar with the WNBA, so I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. But when you have these utterly ridiculous people like Megyn Kelly saying stupid stuff, like look at this idiot. Instead of taking cheap shots at Caitlin Clark and miring themselves in blinding envy of her, they should try to be more like her. they'd play better and their lives would improve. Hey, dumbass Megyn Kelly. Caitlin Clark has already set the rookie record for most turnovers as a rookie. There are other players playing way better than her. Oh, by the way, Megyn, because you don't know shit about WNBA, Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever, they're 2-8. So, oh, by the way, Sunday's game, she scored, I think, was it 3 points or 5 points? She didn't even hit double digits. So this notion that, oh my God, be like her, hey, it's called toughen the hell up. You're now in pro ball. And I don't understand for the life of me, Renita, why these people are such snowflakes as if they've never watched sports before. This is what happens when you decide to come in as the hot rookie. Ask Kobe what happened. They were like, yo, we're going to put you on your ass. In fact, I remember that's video of the players like, I ain't passing his ass the ball at the All-Star game. So this ain't new in sports. And so guess what? Caitlin Clark, she going to have to deal with, like everybody else, take your ass to the weight room, bulk up, because they going to hit you.
Yeah, this whole thing is so crazy. And what the Chicago Tribune said is absolutely outrageous, to say that this would be considered assault on anywhere else if it weren't on a basketball court. Give me a break. You would have to go far and wide to find a solicitor that would actually try to give somebody an assault charge over essentially a push. That is ridiculous. That's not worth the paperwork or the charges. So they definitely overblew it. And I think that they overblew it because it looks like there's a racial difference between Caitlin and Chennedy. The second thing is, when I saw in print the interview that they did with Caitlin after, and she herself even said, this is what happens in basketball. There's nothing to do. You know, the shove happened. I had to pick myself up and reset my attitude, and you keep moving. It's just a part of basketball. So really, this is just a lot of people blowing it up. And I think that they're doing that because she is a white woman. And I think that the root of all of this is really going back to sort of try to protecting that white femininity, because we've never seen
here's a game. Renita, here's a game 2 weeks earlier. Y'all, here's a game 2 weeks earlier. Watch these two centers go at it. Hard foul. Uh-oh, about to come to blows. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Yo, this is sports. This is sports. And the reality is this here. If the video we showed, Caitlin Clark was talking trash to Chennedy Carter after the basket. And on Congo, she was like, oh, okay, I got something for your ass. We go down the court.
Yep. And Caitlin Clark also elbowed her as well during those plays as well, which
it was. I saw it. Tussle for the ball. You go high, but it wasn't like. I mean, I've seen some elbows, so I mean, it wasn't that big deal. But I mean, but it's all a part of the game, and it's gonna get physical.
No, absolutely. And I think people also forgot that other malice at the Palace when I think it was the Sparks versus the Shock in 2008, a WNBA game that, you know, turned into a brawl of some sort. This is part of the game and very frustrating. I'm frustrated with the cloak that has been wrapped around Caitlin Clark, and it's no fault of her own. She gets out there. She plays hard. She doesn't play into any of the race stuff. She doesn't play into any of the other things. She gets on the court, talks her trash, does her thing just like anybody else out there. But this idea of how she has to be protected because she's saving the league, and people talking about, oh, now charter flights are happening because of what she said. People have been speaking about charter flights for years, and now it's happening. And so she has accelerated things that have already been happening. And so I think that that's a great thing. But what is the league going to start giving automatic flagrant fouls now if she gets touched in a particular way? This is ultimately going to hurt her success as the league goes forward. And I want to also shout out Monica McNutt on ESPN's First Take, as well as Jamel Hill, who've been out there speaking about a lot of the sexism that people have been putting out there just in their comments about the WNBA in general. But getting back to the issue of Caitlin Clark, they can't have this mentality of we're going to protect this woman at all costs because she is the savior of the league. She will save the league, quote unquote. She gets out there, competes, and fights hard. And this Pat McAfee talking about she's the only one with that sexist statement that he made and offensive statement. There are so many, Cardoso, Reese, and so on and so forth. And so I'm glad that I'm able to learn more about the league, watch the league, and I am going to listen to the people, mainly the women commentators who know about the league and follow it, and they need to be uplifted as well. But all of this other nonsense, I'm seeing like, why is Morning Joe covering this? Did they talk about what Alyssa Thomas did to Angel Reese? This is ridiculous.
I mean, right. I mean, it's down. I mean, look, you referenced the fight Detroit shot. Go to my iPad. I mean, this is the video right here. They went at it. I mean, the bottom line is, to me, that looked much bigger than the Caitlin Clark stuff, Julian. These people, this just goes to show you that, one, you got folks who never watched the WNBA. They're snowflakes, and they want her to be treated with kid gloves. It's a gross overreaction, and it's called basketball. Suck it up and deal with it.
Exactly. I mean, one of the things you have to say is, we've seen elbows, we've seen pushing, we've seen shoving. It happens with the men and with the women. That's how it goes down. It's not, I mean, that's just how it is. But the reaction is because of white women's frailty. All these people are railing around, I mean, they're virtually clutching their pearls because poor little Caitlin Clark got knocked down. Hell, if you want to play with the big girls, you got to be a big girl. And she wasn't complaining. I'll say that. She's been very aware of the racial differences, even with Angel. She wasn't complaining. But all these protectors, I call them quasi-clan members. You know, back in the day, if a white woman said she was looked at ways, suddenly there was a lynching. There's one story from back in the day. I know you stick me in my stories, Roland, but I tell them anyway, where a brother was walking down the street and a white woman was bathing in the window. Now, why was the bathing in the window? So then she said the man was eyeballing her. She bathed in the window. They lynched her. So this is basically fast forward. You got these. You can't push Caitlin Clark. Well, if Caitlin Clark wants to play WNBA, somebody gonna push her. They're gonna push her more than once. She needs to up her game. She was a great college superstar, and she did bring a lot of attention to the league. I give her props for that. But guess what? She has not at all met her accolades in terms of the quality of her play. And the fact that she got her behind knocked down, hey, I ain't mad at nobody.
And listen, that's going to happen. This right here is video of another WNBA game. The players were going at it, jawing at each other. The refs called technical fouls on them. It happens. I mean, so bottom line is, this is what is called sports. I mean, I don't understand why people are just losing their damn minds over this. Bottom line is here. Hey, and let me be real clear. Okay, for all the folks who are talking about, well, how should you respond? Listen, I remember when it was Larry Bird and Bill Laimbeer. And listen, Larry Bird was not taking nothing from the Detroit Pistons and Bill Laimbeer. And Bird fought many folk. And let me be real clear. Bird was a white boy from Indiana who could ball, who could straight up ball. But listen, when he was fighting, he went after Dennis Rodman. Go to the video. He was fighting Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer. He ain't care. Watch, for all y'all people who tripping on Caitlin Clark. Hello, watch this right here.
I don't remember Larry Bird getting as angry as I saw him there.
Now, Bird would stand for getting pulled down on a layup, but not on a play like that with the clock running down. And he really got taken down very hard. And, of course, Bird is very upset at Laimbeer and has been for a long time.
So all I'm saying, y'all sitting here tripping. Them were the days in the NBA when they was sitting here just swinging. That little bump on Caitlin Clark, man, that was a love tap from the Detroit Pistons. That was a love tap. All right, y'all.
Somebody's killing poor people, and it's going on now.
When COVID happened, poor people were dying at a rate already of 800 people a day. Before COVID, if you went to a funeral every single day, it would take you 600 years to attend all the funerals of the people who will die from the ravages of policy violence, poverty, and low wages in America in just 1 year. It would take you 2 years and 19 days to go to all of the funerals of the people that will die today, and oftentimes silence. Nobody talks about this political genocide, but we are determined today to remember their death and be a resurrection of voting power and voice power like never before.
Economic justice and saving this democracy are deeply connected. We, as a nation, must listen to the demands of the poor, who are pushing and will continue to push political candidates and elected leaders to lift from the bottom so that everybody can rise.
We are the poor, the marginalized, and the underpaid. And we are taking one step forward to say that everybody has a right to live.
Poverty is not the fault of those who are impoverished. It is caused by those who make the policy.
There are over 135 million poor and low-wage, low-income people in this nation.
The biggest block of potential voters by far is low-income, low-wage voters.
I can't afford medicine. Sometimes I have to skip because of the cost.
The farm worker community is tired of the violence imposed upon us by greed, exclusion, and denial of basic human rights.
Those folk that represented by that casket, poor and low-wage workers who are the most moral people in this country because they go to work every day believing, even though going to work is hazardous to their health.
I'm tired of working 70 to 80 hours a week and still not have money for the necessity of bills. I'm tired of getting sick and not being able to go see the doctor. Having to make a choice to pay between rent or the light bill or food or clothes.
You cannot claim to care about families and a culture of life and then do everything in your power to rob people of equal access to resources and to force them to live in poverty.
Leadership of both parties had waged war on poor people and low-wage workers.
And this government has treated people experiencing poverty, including their military families, with disdainful, deliberate, malicious neglect.
So the truth is that my son died from poverty.
We refuse to accept poverty as the fourth leading cause of death.
The fourth leading cause of death in this, the richest country in the world.
We march today for our children and the generations to come.
And we need to do it with the loudest voices possible, the biggest actions possible.
We will voice our demands and register our vote.
When we stand up and when we stand together, things change.
There is the electorate that is, and then there is the electorate that should be.
34 million eligible poor and low-income voters did not vote in 2016. If just 20% of those voters in swing states were mobilized around an agenda, they could change the political outcome of every election. So we're launching the most massive voter mobilization and turnout campaign in history of poor and low-wage voters, allies, and religious leaders.
People are dying, but we know it doesn't have to be this way. And so we are calling on everyone to join us in this Poor People's Campaign, a national call for more revival.
We are here, we will be seen, we will be heard, and our power will be felt. We don't need to be an insurrection. We are a resurrection that will be felt across this country. Are you ready? 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 We are a resurrection, and we are ready.